This is a bill that essentially increased taxes on international trade, on imports in the United States by about 50%. It was passed in June of 1930. An interesting thing about the period from November of 1929 through the end of the middle of April of 1930, the stock market was increasing. There was evidence that the economy was rebounding. The stock market had actually returned to the level of the October crash of 1929. Again, you can go back and look to see what the data are. But when the Smoot-Hawley tariff bill, it became obvious it was going to pass. The stock market tanked, trade collapsed, international trade fell by 50% over the next 12 to 18 months, and that prolonged and made the Great Depression much more severe than it otherwise would have been. The other disastrous policy was the increase in taxes of 1932. The Hoover administration, then, along with the Democratic Congress, increased taxes. You talk about tax increases. The top marginal tax rate was increased between 1931 and 1932 from 25% to 63%. That's a tax increase. The bottom rate was increased from 2% to 8%. I mean, that was really a tax increase, 4 times what the earlier rate was. And of course, the result was disastrous. It threw the economy deeper into the recession. The economy had its largest shrinkage during the year 1933 and 32 and 33, and the unemployment rate rose to these 25% figures that we looked at. Now, why didn't the economy recover? Well, another part of the factors that prolonged the Great Depression and resulted in it being so severe is the New Deal policies changed from week to week and month to month. I mean, it was the AAA, it was the NRA, the Wagner Act, all kinds of various kinds of regime-changing types of legislation that it introduced uncertainty. Nobody could plan for the future. If you didn't know what the political process was, a decision you might make might be reversed by the political process. And that's one that while normally the economy would have recovered during 34, 35, 36, and 37 and on into 38, but it's why the Depression ended up being so long and so severe. So, as we think about the current situation, where we are, that gives us some clues about some things that we should not do. We should not impose trade restraints. We certainly do not want to have any kind of a major tax increase. And that we do not want to have reductions in the money supply causing deflation. Now let me just say with regard to those things, I think that we'll probably avoid the mistakes of the Great Depression.